If you're experiencing pain in your lower back when you're squatting, don't just ditch it, don't just stop doing it, think about what could be going wrong. One of the main reasons for lower back pain in a squat is something called a butt wink or a lumbar reversal. That's where, when you get into the bottom position on the squat, your pelvis tilts underneath, and as you start to drive back up again, it flips back and you overextend through your lower back. That puts a lot of pressure through that area and eventually you start to get pain. We can tackle this issue in a couple of ways. First one is about mobility. Can we get deep enough? This is usually caused by tightness in a muscle called your psoas on the front of your lower abdominals. It's a hip flexor that crosses your pelvis, attaches to the front of your spine. Or it could be in your hamstrings, obviously in the back of your leg. So getting a mobility ball, doing a couple of different exercises. So for your psoas, you can lie flat on your back, put the ball near your belly button, weight it down with something so you can feel the pressure there, and extend and flex one leg at a time, loosening that tissue off. It's not comfortable, but it's really, really effective. For your hamstrings, you can do a similar sort of exercise, but what you'll need is something firm, higher than a chair ideally. You can lift yourself up so your feet are not touching the floor. Put the lacrosse ball underneath your hamstring, underneath the back of your leg, and bend and straighten your leg one at a time. Move up, move down, the length of your hamstring, move in, move out. Once you hit an area that's tight, stick on that and keep working until it loosens off. Obviously work on both sides of your body. When it comes to the squat itself, think about how you're setting up. Are you doing the squat properly? So let's go from a top-down approach. The first thing to think about is where the bar is sitting on your shoulders. Most people go in for what is called a traditional or a high bar squat. They put the bar on their traps up here. If you have particularly long legs or just generally, this is a less than efficient position to be in because it lengthens the leverage from your hips all the way to where the bar is. So that's making it more likely for you to buckle and bend, especially when it gets hard in the bottom of the squat. So what I recommend is a lower bar position. Put the bar on lower down on your shoulders, should be in the middle of your shoulder blades. Do this with light weights when you first try it because it'll feel completely different. This has the advantage of lowering the leverage or reducing the leverage length and making it a more stable position to lift from because it also makes you open out your chest. Combined with that, I recommend you bring your hands closer together, as close as you comfortably can. So those two things combined will create a stable platform for you to lift from. When you're getting ready for the exercise, take a really big, deep breath. Hold it while you're doing the lift. That's something called the Valsalva maneuver. So the bar, your hands, and that breath are all going to combine to make a really solid platform for you to lift from. So think about the tyre. You want a fully inflated tyre to push that force through. You don't want a flat, spongy tyre. Next thing to think about is your foot position. Make sure your feet are wide enough, but not too wide. So for most people, that's slightly wider than shoulder width apart with your heels, and turn your toes out to about 30 degrees. Now everybody's different. Some people like a wider squat, some people like a narrower squat depending on your personal anatomy. Some people like feet turned out more, some people like feet pointing a bit more forward. Again, think about your anatomy. But what we want to try and do is create, again, a stable platform so your weight's through your middle of your feet and enough room so your hips can drop down without your thighs getting in the way of your hips, and that's also sometimes why your pelvis can tilt around in the lower part of the squat. So you want to be wide enough going down. Combined with that, you want to think about where your knees go. So whatever angle you take your feet, I want you to track your knees in that same angle. So if I've got a wide foot position, my knees should go wide. If I have a narrow foot position, my knees should still go over my toes. Okay. The final couple of things that can help are weightlifting shoes. They're designed to have a solid, flat base. All right. It's strong to lift from, so you won't collapse in, you won't collapse out. You can lift from like that. I'd also consider wearing a lifting belt. Now this isn't to protect your back. What this is to aid, along with the breathing that we spoke about a second ago, you can push out into the belt and that'll create extra pressure, extra kind of inflation in that tyre of your midsection to push through. All right, so I hope those things have all helped. Let me know in the comments below, are you experiencing any back pain? Do you have a butt wing? Have you tried any of these things and has it helped you? Speak soon.